My name is Lisa. I'm with the Tampa-Hillsborough County Public Library, and I'm so excited that we're joined today by our special guest, Mr. Windell Campbell. Mr. Windell, would you tell us a little bit about yourself in today's program?
I sure will. I'm Windell Campbell, and I am a retired school teacher. I taught for 41 years in the Hillsborough County school system and retired a couple of years ago, right when COVID-19 started. So it was a perfect time for me to retire. Now I go around telling stories to summer reading programs, festivals, and other occasions, but that's who I am.
That's so wonderful. I love that we have that history with you here with us and with the county and all of our students. So we're going to truck right along here with our presentation, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about how you can continue this experience at home. You're going to hear some wonderful stories today, and if you might want to check out some books and read along with stories just like that, you can find those in our catalog either as physical books, or a lot of them are also available as ebooks, digital books from Hoopla, where you don't have to wait for them. You can just log right in, click on it, and read those books together there. Sometimes they're read-along editions where they have audio recordings in addition to the written words. And then there's also books that, like The Great White Man-Eating Shark, where they also have a video version of it on Canopy Kids. So check all those out if you go to hcplc.org/kids. That's going to point you in the right direction for all these books and resources. All right, I'm going to pop right over to our next screen. And I'm going to let Mr. Windell get started. And to do that, I'm going to take my camera and microphone off so that you can see his lovely face. And when he is ready to be zoomed in, we'll turn off the slides and we'll just have the video going with his face.
All right, I'm all ready to be zoomed in. And I want to let you know that this year's summer reading program theme is Oceans of Possibilities. So I decided to tell 3 stories that has something to do with the ocean. And I usually have audience participation in my storytelling, but I'm at home and I don't have an audience. So what I had to do was invite my daughter. Come on up here, daughter. She's going to sit right here in this chair. Her name is Kiana. And my grandson, his name is Robbie. Come on up here, Robbie, and sit in the other chair. And they are going to be my puppets because I usually incorporate puppets with storytelling. As you can see, I am not that young. You can tell by my grandson, he's old, and my granddaughter, she's even older. So I must be ancient. But I want to talk about some of the animals that are in Florida's oceans. The first animal that I want to talk about in Florida's ocean near Florida's ocean, is the dolphin. Now, Robbie, this is a dolphin. Tell us a few facts about the dolphin.
Well, there's 40 species of dolphins. They can swim 20 miles an hour, and they use echolocation to find their way throughout the ocean.
So there are plenty of dolphins in the ocean, 40 different species of dolphins. Now, there are bald eagles in Florida. There's only one state that has more bald eagles than Florida, and that state is Alaska. So, Robbie, tell us a little bit about bald eagles.
They're really fast flyers. They reach up to 30 miles an hour, can live up to 30 years, and their eyesight is 8 times as strong as humans.
They can really see well. And another animal that's found in the oceans, not anywhere near Florida, is the seal. Kiana, tell us a little bit about some facts about seals.
He can hold his breath for 30 minutes. He's cold-blooded, and he can swim 18 miles per hour.
And of course, one of Florida's animals is a sea turtle. You can find them in the oceans too. Kiana, tell us a little bit about the sea turtle.
They can hold their breath for 5 hours.
Wow.
They lay eggs in the sand, but they can't hide in their shell.
All right. Now, these animals make sounds, and so I want Robbie to hold that eagle up and let me hear your loudest eagle sound. It's pretty good eagle sound, Robbie. Now hold that dolphin up because dolphins have all kinds of sounds. And let me hear your dolphin sound. Very good. Now, seals are not around here, but Kiana can let us know what a seal sounds like. That's pretty good, Kiana. And sea turtles, they don't make sounds at all except when they're nesting. So, Kiana, let's hear a sea turtle sound. So let me tell you guys what this story is all about. This story is all about this guy right here. Now, his name is George. When George was a puppy, George didn't know how to bark, so George's mother said, okay, George, show everyone how you can bark. George went, no, 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 George. Eagles go, yeah, dogs go roof. Now bark, George. George went, no, 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 George. Dolphins go, and eagles go, yeah, dogs go roof. Now bark, George. George went, no, 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 George. Seals go, and dolphins go, and eagles go, yeah, dogs go roof. Now bark, George. George went, meck, meck, meck. No, 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 George. Turtles go, and seals go, and dolphins go, and eagles go, yeah, dogs go roof. Now, George's mother was so upset, she took George to the vet, and the vet said, I'll get to the bottom of this. Now, George, open up your mouth and bark. George went, and the vet reached his hand deep, deep down inside George and pulled out an eagle, and the eagle went, and the vet said, okay, George, bark again. And George went, and the vet reached his hand deep, deep down inside George and pulled out a dolphin, and the dolphin went, and the eagle went, and the vet said, okay, George, bark again. And George went, and the vet reached his hand deep, deep down inside George and pulled out a seal, and the seal went, and the dolphin went, and the eagle went, and the vet said, okay, George, bark again. And George went, meck, meck, meck. And the vet reached his hand deep, deep down inside George and pulled out a sea turtle, and the sea turtle went, and the seal went, and the dolphin went, and the eagle went, and the vet said, okay, George, bark again. And George went, ruff, 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 ruff. George's mother was so happy that George barked. George's mother went over and kissed that little dolphin, kissed that little eagle, kissed that little seal, kissed that little turtle. And George's mother went home. On the way home, George's mother wanted to show George off to all of the people on the street. So George's mother said, okay, George, show everyone how you can bark. And George went, hello. And that is the end of Bark George. You guys give that story a hand and give my daughter and my son a hand too. I'll do that for you. Thank you very much, guys. Put those puppets on over there and head on over there because I have a little secret to tell you. That story is found in a book, and the name of the book is called Bark George. So if you like the story, and parents, this is a great bedtime story because in this story, you can read the story and the kids can make all the sounds. So I want to tell you another one of my favorite stories I found out about the ocean. It's called The Great White Man-Eating Shark. It's a story about this animal right here. Now, when I was a young man, around 16 years old, 17 years old, I was in high school and I saw this movie. It was called Jaws. And this shark, he went around eating people up and trying to bite people. That was bad enough. But in the movie, to make it even worse, there was some music. And every time the shark started eating people up, you would hear, doo-dum, doo-dum, doo-dum. So what I'm gonna have to have in this story is some background musicians. So anytime I hold up one finger, I want everybody to say doo-dum. And if I hold up two fingers, I want everybody to say doo-dum, doo-dum. And if I hold up four fingers, I want everybody to say doo-dum, 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 doo-dum. And if I hold up my fist, I want everybody to repeat that thing 3 times. And at the last time, I want you to bring down your fist and I want you to say, ooh. We're going to try it one time. Y'all hit me out there. My grandson and my daughter, they're going to hit me over here. All right, hit me. Hit me. Dum dum dum. Hit me. Dum 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 dum. Here we go with the fist. Hit me. Dum 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 dum. Ooh! I think y'all got it. So this is the story of the great white man-eating shark. A long time ago, there was this boy, and his name was Norvin. Norvin, he was a good actor, but Norvin was mighty plain looking. In fact, Norvin, he looked pretty much like a shark. Norvin had small, sharkish eyes and a pointed, sharkish head, and he had these sharp, sharkish teeth. Unfortunately, there weren't too many plays written with good parts for sharks, so Norvin, he took up swimming instead. Let me see you guys out there swimming. He's swimming. Slow, slow, slow. Every once in a while in this story, y'all are going to have to swim back there. So, Norvin lived near this wonderful beach called Carmel Cove. Unfortunately, he had to share it with lots of other swimmers. Every time Norvin tried swimming through the water like a silver arrow, folks would get in his way. And this made Norvin mad. Norvin said, "Dadgummit, what's the use of being able to swim through the water like a silver arrow when every time I do it, somebody gets in my way?" So Norvin, he came up with this wicked plan. Out of a piece of plastic, Norvin carved himself the dorsal fin of a great white man-eating shark. He strolled around the headland and he strapped that dorsal fin on and he jumped into the clear blue water. Now, Mrs. Capiro, who ran the town bakery, she was bobbing harmlessly up and down in the water when all of a sudden she saw coming straight toward her, hit me, the dorsal fin of a great white man-eating shark. Hit me. Now, if you are ever in the water and you see the dorsal fin of a great white man-eating shark coming straight toward you, then you get out of the water in a calm, dignified manner. Hit me. But Mrs. Capiro didn't know this. Hit me. Shot, shot, she yelled. She flung herself on the beach, kicking and screaming with terror. What a panic she caused. Everybody in Carmel Cove were grabbing their children, their pets, their inflatable toys. Within minutes, the beach was covered with dripping bodies and the entire sea was empty. Everybody stared at that cruising dorsal fin. And some folks say they can make out the shape of a great white man-eating shark swimming underneath it. Norvin, he wore the expression a great white man-eating shark usually wears when he's hungry. This is how he looked. And even when he came up for air, folks thought he was looking for prey. And it was a hot day, too. No one dared to go swimming again. Norvin had the whole beach to himself all day long. And he spent all day swimming up and down, back and forth like a silver arrow. Everybody else was too afraid to go swimming again. Everybody, that is, except for Norvin. After a while, Norvin swam around the headland and he disappeared from sight. After that, no one dared share the sea with the great white man-eating shark. They all started shouting at Norvin. "Norvin, get out of the water. There's a great white man-eating shark swimming around these places." "Nonsense," Norvin said. "It's probably a basking shark or a whale shark. And they're vegetarians." Norvin had the whole beach to himself for a whole week, and he spent all day long swimming up and down, back and forth like a silver arrow. After a while, a few brave souls, tired of seeing Norvin swim up and down, back and forth like a silver arrow, decided to take a dare, and one by one, two by two, and all by all, they all jumped in and started enjoying the swimming and the summer. Let me see you swim. Stroke, stroke, stroke. But Norvin, he was greedy. Norvin wanted Carmel Cove to himself, so he strolled around the headland, found a few sharky stalks, strapped that dorsal fin on, and he jumped into the clear blue water. Now, Mr. Dorsey, who was the town plumber, he was showing his son Courtney how he can stand on his head underwater, something plumbers sometimes had to do, when all of a sudden he found himself nose to nose with Norvin. Hit me. Now, he didn't recognize Norvin. He thought he was nose to nose with the great white man-eating shark. Hit me. Now, if you are ever in the water and you find yourself nose to nose with a great white man-eating shark, the thing to do is to get out of the water in a calm, dignified manner. But Mr. Dorsey, he didn't know this. Hit me. Ooh, shock, shock, he yelled. He grabbed his son Courtney and flung himself on the beach just to kicking and screaming with terror. What a panic he caused. Norman had the whole beach to himself for 3 whole days. After that, a few brave souls, tired of seeing Norman having the beach to themselves, decided to take a dare. 1 by 1, 2 by 2, and all by all. They all jumped in and started enjoying the swimming and the summer. But Norman, he had gotten greedy. He wanted Carmel Cove to himself all the time. So he strolled around the headland, jumped into the water again, and he thought a few sharpest thoughts, and he started swimming. But suddenly, he felt he wasn't alone. Hit me! Doo-doo. Somebody was swimming next to him. Hit me. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Who could it be? Norman looked out of the corner of his eyes, and out of the corner of his eyes was a great white man-eating shark, a female. Hit me. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. She didn't recognize Norman. She thought Norman was another shark. She said, "Ooh, baby, you are the shark of my dreams. Marry me at once or I shall get angry and bite you. Hit me." Ooh, shark, shark, Norman said. Norman flung himself on the beach, kicking and screaming with terror, that dorsal fin and all. Everybody could see just what Norman had been up to. After that, the people of Carmel Cove put a shark net at the mouth of the bay, and Norman, he was too afraid to go swimming again. He sat on the beach watching other swimmers swim up and down, back and forth like a silver arrow. He was just a little boy, but he made a pretty convincing shark, and I do believe Norman was pretty smart not to take a dare. And that is the story of Norman and the great white man-eating shark. So that's another good story that you might check out in your library, The Great White Man-Eating Shark. Now, there are plenty more oceans of possibilities, and I found one story that probably everyone knows this story. And this story is about this animal right here. Y'all know what kind of animal this is? That's right. It's a fish, but not just any fish. This was the most beautiful fish in the entire ocean. His scales were every color of blue and green and little gold scales. The other fish were amazed at him. And you know what they called him? That's right. They called him the rainbow fish. They would all swim after the rainbow fish and they would say, "Hey, rainbow fish, buddy, come on and play with us." But rainbow fish would just glide by, proud and silently, letting his scales just gleam. Now, one day, the little blue fish followed after the rainbow fish. The little blue fish said, "Hey, rainbow fish, buddy, would you please give me one of your scales, one of your beautiful scales? You have so many, and they are so beautiful." Rainbow fish said, "What? Just who do you think you are? Get out of here at once." Shocked, the little blue fish swam away, and he went back to tell the other fish what had happened. And from that moment on, no one would have anything to do with the rainbow fish. They would all turn their backs whenever the rainbow fish swam by. Now the rainbow fish was the loneliest fish in the ocean. What good were all those scales when there was no one to admire? And one day, the rainbow fish poured his troubles out to the crab. The rainbow fish said, "You know, I really am beautiful. Why doesn't anybody love me?" The crab said, "I can't answer that. But if you go down below the coral reef, you'll find a cave. There you'll see the octopus. Maybe he can help you." So the rainbow fish went down below the coral reef, and he found this cave too. And when the rainbow fish found the cave, it was so dark inside that the rainbow fish couldn't see anything. And all of a sudden, 2 eyes caught him in their glare. And the octopus emerged, and the octopus says, "I've been waiting for you. The waves have told me your story. This is my advice to you. Give one of your scales to each of the other fish. You will no longer be the most beautiful fish in the ocean, but you will discover how to be happy." And the rainbow fish said, "I can't." But the octopus already disappeared into a pot of ink. Rainbow Fish said, "Give away my scales, my beautiful scales. How could I ever be happy without them?" All of a sudden, the Rainbow Fish felt a light touch of a fin. The little blue fish was back. Little blue fish said, "Rainbow Fish buddy, please don't be angry at me. I just wanted one scale, one tiny little scale." The Rainbow Fish wavered a little bit. Rainbow Fish said, "Well, all right, maybe I won't miss just one." So the Rainbow Fish plucked one of his scales off and handed it to the little blue fish. Little blue fish said, thank you very much." As he tucked that scale amongst his other blue ones, he went swimming away, up and down and back and forth in the water. And the Rainbow Fish watched this for a long time. And you know what? It didn't take long before the Rainbow Fish was surrounded by other fish, and everybody wanted a scale. So the Rainbow Fish shared his scales with all of the other fish. "There's a scale for you, and you, and you, and you, and you, and everybody here gets a scale." The Rainbow Fish had given away his most prized possessions. But you know what? The Rainbow Fish was happy. All of the other fish started swimming after the Rainbow Fish. They said, "Hey, Rainbow Fish buddy, come on and play with us." Rainbow Fish said, "All right, here I come." And happy as Splash, the Rainbow Fish went off to join his friends. And that is the story of the Rainbow Fish. I love that story because the Rainbow Fish learned a lesson in that story. Do you guys know the lesson that the Rainbow Fish learned? Oh yeah, that's right. Sharing. Because when you share what you have, you get more friends. And with friends, there is an ocean of possibilities. So I'm going to turn it back over to the librarian, and she's going to tell us what's going to happen next. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Windell. So we've got up on our screen, we've got Mr. Windell's information about his upcoming shows. We have 3 of those coming up at the library soon, 2 of them next week, and then we have another one in July. So if you want to see some of these in person, we would love to see you at one of our branches. You can always check those on the calendar. And we also, we love Mr. Windell's stories. We also have regular ongoing story times for various age groups. You can always check the schedule for when those different age group story times are happening. Go to hcplc.org/storytime. That has all of our wonderful library story times on there. Or catch up on them on our YouTube channel. If you go to Tampa Hills Lib on YouTube, there's a whole playlist on there with all of our ongoing virtual story times. And our website also has a list of which books are upcoming that we're going to be covering for those. Yeah, we would love to see you in the branch. And here is our contact page. So I'm going to leave this up here for a moment, and we're going to see if anybody has any questions. All right, so far, no questions. So, Mr. Windell, I think you mentioned that you might have a story ready for us for an encore. So we have about 5 minutes left on the program. So if our audience, if you guys want to stay tuned in, I'm going to go through our contact information here real quick. But if you want to stay tuned in after that, we will have a special encore story after that. I have our contact information up here, as always, hcplc.org/contact or 813-273-3652. You can reach us on there, and hcplc.org/summer has all of our summer programs on there, including information for how to get registered on Beanstack, to make sure you're getting credit for all that great summer reading you're doing so that you can win some of those prizes. And I've also, of course, got Mr. Windell's contact information up on the page. That's his website there, and his website has all of his other contact information up there. So definitely check that out. It's so wonderful to see all these familiar names on our attendance list. So we love having you back here for these programs, and we look forward to seeing you in the branch. I'm going to go ahead and turn my screen off and let Mr. Windell tell his encore story. And when he's done, I will pull this screen back up once we're wrapped up. Thank you so much, folks.
Thank you. I have one last story to tell you. This probably is the story that I've been telling longer than any other story. It's one of my favorite stories. It's about this animal right here. Does anybody know what kind of animal this is? No, it's not a skunk. No, it's not a mouse. It's a possum. That's right. See, possums can do something that not too many animals can do. Possums can hang upside down by their tails like that. Not too many animals can do that. Another thing about possums is they have a pouch. And what they keep in that pouch, boop, keep their little baby possums nice and warm in that pouch. Now, Brad Possum, he lived back in the days when the animals can talk. And Brad Possum, he was a nice critter. Every morning, Brad Possum, he head down the road and he help out this one, and he help out this one, and he help out this one. Brad Possum, he just help out everybody. But at nighttime, Brad Possum, he be plumb tuckered out. So what Brad Possum would do is he find himself a tree. And Brad Possum, he'd hang upside down by his tail like that until morning time come. Now, when morning time would come, Brad Possum, he'd get down out of that tree and he'd head on down the road to try to find a place to sun himself. One day, Brad Possum, he was just walking down the road trying to find a place to sun himself, and he came across this big old hole in the middle of the road. He looked in that hole and he jumped back real quick because down in the bottom of that hole, it was old Brad Snake with a brick on his back. Brad Possum, he got to thinking of, that's old Brad Snake down in the bottom of that hole with that brick on his back. I best be getting on out of here because if Brad Snake gets to seeing me, he won't do nothing but bite me. So Brad Possum, he took off on down the road. Pew! Boogity, 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 boogity. Brad Possum, he thought he had gotten away from old Brad Snake. All of a sudden, Brad Possum heard someone calling him, and it sounded like, help me, Brad Possum. Brad Possum turned around. Brad Possum says, that's old Brad Snake calling me. I best get on down to the hole to find out what he wants. So Brad Possum, he went on down to the hole. And when he got to the hole, he looked in the hole and he said, Brad Snake, was that you calling me? What do you want with me? Brad Snake said, Brad Possum, I've been down in the hole where the sun doesn't shine, and I have this brick on my back. Won't you help me get it off? Brad Possum says, Brad Snake, I know you. Now, if I get down in that hole with you and try to get that brick off your back, Brad Snake, you won't do nothing but bite me. Brad Snake looked at him and he hissed and he said, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. Brad Possum says, Brad Snake, I gotta think about this. You let me think. So Brad Possum, he started thinking. He thought high and he thought low. About the time Brad Possum was thinking high, he saw an old tree limb up in the tree. He reached up there, grabbed that tree limb, put it in the hole, put it under that brick, and he kind of flicked that brick off of Brad Snake's back, and he took off on down the road. Pew! Boogity, 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 boogity. Brad Possum, he thought he had gotten away from old Brad Snake. All of a sudden, Brad Possum heard something calling him again, and it sounded like, help me, Brad Possum. Brad Possum stopped, turned around. Brad Possum says, that's him again. Brad Possum, he went on down to the hole. And when he got to the hole, he looked in the hole and he said, Brad Snake, was that you calling me again? What do you want with me now? Brad Snake said, Brad Possum, I've been down in the hole where the sun doesn't shine, and I've grown stiff and I can't crawl out of the hole. Won't you help me get out? Brad Possum says, Brad Snake, I got to think about this. You let me think. So Brad Possum, he started thinking. Brad Possum, he thought high and he thought low. Just about the time Brad Possum was thinking low, he saw that old tree limb that he dropped down there. So he reached down, grabbed that tree limb, put it in the hole, and he put it under Brad Snake's belly. And he started raising Brad Snake high above the hole. Now, when he had Brad Snake high enough, he flicked him over in the tall grass, took off on down the road. Pew! Boogity, 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 boogity. Brad Possum, he thought he had gotten away from old Brad Snake. All of a sudden, Brad Possum heard something calling him again, and it sounded like, help me, Brad Possum. Brad Possum stopped and turned around. Brad Possum says, There's him again. Brad Possum, he went on down to the hole. And when he got to the hole, he looked in the hole and he didn't see Brad Snake in the hole. All of a sudden, Brad Snake started to crawl out across the grass, crawled up and looked at old Brad Possum. Said to Brad Possum, Brad Possum, I've been down in the hole where the sun doesn't shine and I've grown cold. Won't you put me in your pockets to warm me up? Brad Possum says, no, Brad Snake, I'm not going to do that. You see, I've already done two things for you. I got that brick off your back, I got you out of that hole, and that's enough. I'm not going to do any more. Pretty soon, old Brad Snake, he started to look kind of sad like that. And when Brad Possum saw that, Brad Possum says, all right, Brad Snake, I'm gonna do it, but that's the last thing I'm gonna do for you. So Brad Possum put Brad Snake in his pocket and he headed off down the road, nice and slow like this. Pew, bookity, 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 like that. Now, it's something about snakes you gotta know. When snakes are cold, they don't move around so much. That snake was so still in that pocket, Brad Possum forgot he was even in there. All of a sudden, the snake started to warm up a little bit, started moving around in that pocket, crawled out of Brad Possum's pocket, crawled out of his shirt, crawled out of his collar, and was looking at old Brad Possum, eye to eye, nose to nose. And that's when Brad Snake said, Brad Possum, I'm gonna bite you. I'm gonna bite you. Brad Possum says, now wait a minute, Brad Snake, hold on a second now. Why you gonna bite me, Brad Snake? I was the one that got that brick off your back. I was the one that got you out of that hole. I was the one that put you in my pocket so you can get warm. Now why you gonna bite me? Brad Snake said, you knew I was a snake when you put me in your pocket. And Brad Snake reared back and bit Brad Possum. Brad Possum did a double somersault in the air, and Brad Possum, he was dead. Brad Snake saw that. Brad Snake was satisfied. Brad Snake headed on home. Now, the moral of the story is, if you're a nice guy, like old Brad Possum was, and you see trouble happening, like trouble will happen, you never trouble trouble until trouble troubles you. Because if you bother with trouble, you won't end up in nothing but trouble. But that's not the end of the story. You see, Brad Possum, he was smarter than you think. Brad Possum wasn't really dead. What Brad Possum was doing was playing dead. As soon as Brad Possum saw Brad Snake head on down the road that way, Brad Possum, he got up, grabbed his little kid, and headed on home himself. And from that day until this, anytime anyone's playing dead or playing sleep, they don't say they're playing dead or playing sleep. Y'all know what they say? They say they're just playing possum. And that's the end of that story. Thank you very much, everybody.